This video is part of a series of videos showing how I make a quiet book using dies. To learn more about this project, please see the introductory video. Now that all the quiet book pages are finished, it's time to put everything together and create the cover. This is one of my favorite parts because it really transforms the project into a keepsake. For the title, I used the Chunky Alphabet Bigz die from Sizzix. It's still available, and because it's a steel rule die, it cuts felt beautifully. But truly, you can use any alphabet die you have on hand. I cut the letters from felt and placed them on the cover, overlapping them slightly and curving them so that the title fit the space a little better. And to hold everything in place, I added the tiniest dots of glue, just enough so that the letters wouldn't shift as I stitched. Then I used 3 strands of embroidery floss and a simple running stitch right down the center of each letter. This added a sweet handmade look without adding too much bulk. Once the letters were sewn on, the cover still felt a little plain. I had this floral appliqué from Hobby Lobby, so I trimmed off the bottom and tucked it under the title. From there, I filled in the rest of the space with a combination of felt flowers, die-cut shapes, and tiny pom-poms I had from my stash. This is a great place to use floral dies if you have them. I ironed the main appliqué in place and then stitched the flowers on. Next, it's time to decide on the page order. I wanted to keep the spreads that belong together, like the truck and the mailbox, side by side. To give the book a finished look, I also cut 2 extra blank pages using Eileen Hall's steel rule die. One for the inside front cover, and the other for the back cover. To assemble the pages, I paired them up, and then I stitched each set back to back using a blanket stitch. This gives the book a clean edge and keeps everything sturdy. As I sew, I try to keep the pages lined up, keep my stitches even, and make sure no pieces shift around. Once all of the pages were stitched together, I added eyelets to each of the binding holes. These pretty eyelets are from Craftelier. I worked each eyelet into the hole, making sure the metal was visible on the back before setting it. Some of these pages are pretty thick, so I used a knitting needle to push the eyelet into place. I set my crocodile to A1, and that worked perfectly. I chose a different color eyelet for each page to match the theme. To bind the book, I used bookbinding rings. These larger ones would have worked beautifully, but I only had 3 of that size. And since this book has 5 holes, I used the next size down. They work just fine. I start by placing on the last page, and then the front cover, and then the remaining pages in order. This keeps the bulky part of the ring at the back of the book so it doesn't interfere with turning the pages. And that's it, our beautiful felt quiet book, all assembled and ready to enjoy. I just love how colorful and dimensional it turned out, and I hope this series inspired you to use the dies in your own collection to make creative, interactive pages of your own. If you haven't watched the full series yet, I've linked the playlist below so that you can follow along, page by page. Thank you so much for crafting with me. Happy stitching! Hey, if you like this project and want to see more like it, let me know by giving me a thumbs up, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Take care.